Happy Death Day to you. 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 And many more. Kind of a sick, twisted wish, huh? So hey, whoop whoop. Sorry, I look crazy. I look dead, but my hair looks great though. So I just watched Happy Death Day 2 with my lovely Mesco days. Man, they take me to the best places. But yeah, I saw the movie. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the first one. So if you didn't see the first one, let's recap. So the first one is basically, how would I describe this with the protagonist? So basically the protagonist is set on this journey, and in my nerd mind, I see the game Clue and an RPG happening, but the kind of RPG like where you can de-level and like lose points and lose your equipment, like in Diablo 2, like that kind of thing. So that's what Happy Death Day is. It's a girl who's unfortunately being killed on her birthday, and she basically has to solve her own murder, which I think is pretty cool. So that's one of the things that I liked about the very first film. I liked the characters, because to me this was an RPG. I was like, we got the mage, okay, the black mage, the white mage, the thief, the warrior. Like I was listing out all the all the jobs, and I was like, ooh, I can get into this. So with Happy Death Day 2, they find a way to actually connect it, because if you didn't see Happy Death Day, when you realize that by the end she ends up solving her murder, it turns out it was the roommate. Yeah, for those of you who have roommates. Same. But it makes it a lot of fun. The humor in there is like very quirky. It's very corny, and it's just one of those films that you're not going to be like, it's elegantly written. It's not that it's not elegantly written, or it is elegantly written. It's just fun. That's all it is. It is just pure fun, and that's what I enjoyed the most about watching the first one. So with the second one, they start off with a similar fashion. Someone else now is stuck in the time loop. Now, I had the theory that with the Happy Death Day, I thought they were going to make this into like, I don't know, a series thing where it would just be like the never-ending joke, like the new Freddy Krueger line of never-ending films, or it would be like the new line of Jason, Friday the 13th. I thought it would be more like that, but instead, they start to explain how she got stuck in the time loop to begin with. So, I'm gonna let you know right now, spoilers! I'm being a warning. You don't want any spoilers? Don't watch. Just come back later, watch it, come back, watch this episode, then tell me what you think about the film, because I need to know. Because I love movies. I like being in them, and I like watching them. So you start off, and what I liked about it was the fact that they start off with one of the minor characters that seemed so insignificant in the first film, but suddenly now this entire thing is revolving around him. And you realize it's his fault. It's his fault why everyone's stuck in a time loop. And what ends up happening is, as they're like battling to like fix everything, this machine that he has created to mess with time ends up having another explosion. And the girl gets stuck back in another time loop. However, she ends up in another multiverse. Now, for those who are like, if you're like, nerd, multiverse is just another universe, basically, where, I don't know if you've watched Flash. That'll sum it up for some of you. How there's just a bunch of different ones. Like, oh no, it's the same Flash. Yeah, okay, so that's the multiverse. Or for those who are just like, what? Me no speaky nerd. So it's like you have a twin in another universe who has a similar life, but not quite. So like another version of me in another universe would probably be like the president, you know, like something like that, where I have no interest in politics, but this one would be like, no, let's go down, that sort of thing. And so that's the best way to describe the multiverse. And then there's another version of me that would be, I don't know, a doctor, you know, something that would make my mom proud, you know. So you find out, like, you know, how he started to create this loop as a science project. You start to learn where the blackouts from the first movie are actually coming from, and it's because of his machine that he's created as a project, as a thesis for his for his college. So as this is going on, she gets stuck in the time loop. However, she ends up in another multiverse where things are a little bit different. She doesn't have the boyfriend that she has. The boyfriend is dating the girl that she hates, and her mother is alive. That's the other thing. That, oh my god, I won't lie. Watching, I'm sorry, there's something in my eye. There's just so much eyelash totally just like attacked me. You guys saw it. And so in Happy Death Day, her mom is dead. So it's a very, I guess, spiritual conquest for the protagonist itself, just to sort of go through the journey of sharing the birthday with her mom, and then that also being her death day as well. So she has to relive the pain over and over and over and over and over. And in Happy Death Day 2, her mom is actually alive, like how I did the Broman thing, right? And so now she's at this point where she starts to fall in love with this multiverse of a life that does not belong to her, even though it is another aspect of her. And it becomes a real tearjerker for just for a second. Like your eyes get like, oh. Like your heart feels for her. You're like, oh. For a minute, because she goes to go meet her dad, and she feels like she knows the routine, but there's certain things like missing, just tiny things, simple things. And she's like, that's weird, because you know she died 11 times, so she should know the routine. And as she goes to go visit her dad for her birthday, the dad's like, oh, we have room for one more, and she's like, and then she sees mom. So I have to give props to the actress who did the scene of just that moment of like breaking down, because to her mother is dead. So now that she sees her in this universe alive, she's having this it's almost like getting that moment back. And I'll get back to her acting on something else she did with the mom later on for the film. And she starts to fall in love with this. The only issue she's having is the person that she's in love with is with someone else. Happens to be the girl that she hates the most. They also have a lot of fun with her deaths while she's going on this journey to figure out how to stop the time loop, because she has to reschool everyone every single time. So in the meantime, she's learning like quantum physics. Oh my god, that was terrible. She's learning quantum physics, and she's memorizing formulas to help them figure out how to fix a time loop. So they're sort of teaching her and training her, and she just keeps dying over and over and over. And they do keep the same concept of, how she dies. And just in case if you didn't watch the first one, the reason why I said that the movie, the deaths are very similar to like a video game, where it's like Clue meets like an RPG, Diablo or like Final Fantasy 11, where you can de-level or you lose your equipment. Each time she dies, she becomes a little weaker every time she comes back. And the warning sign is once she starts to kind of faint, and once she ends up in the hospital, there's a scene in there, of course, in both movies, where she goes to the doctor, Gregory, naughty boy. She goes to Gregory, and he's just sort of, you should be dead, that kind of thing. And it's because her body, in a sense, is keeping, I guess, all the internal and deaths. I'm not sure how to explain that. It's just like you reset the game, but then you realize you run out of lives and the game's over. So she's trying to figure out, how much time she really has before she can fix the problem. Now, what ends up happening is in Death Day 2, there's a new murder. It's not Lori this time. Lori was the roommate in number 1. Lori actually ends up being killed. Woo! Lori ends up being killed. She dies. Like, everyone's just dying. Like, everyone's like, pick a card, any card. Who wants to die today? And that's what makes it more fun, because Lori is actually a close friend of hers. Danielle is actually her bestie, and it's interesting to see like how she's handling. I'm sorry, the camera cut me off. But anyways, it was interesting to watch her character have all of this information and see what her life would be like if her mom was alive. So for me, my nerdy self was like, oh my god, it's that moment of Flash. Point The one time where it makes sense, instead of mentioning it throughout every single episode in Flash. I just want to point that out because the fact that that was being mentioned like 5,000 times, like, okay, I get the joke. I get your referencing to it. I felt like Happy Death Day 2 was more of like Flashpoint in a sense, where we had the humor and the fact that she has to come over the lesson that if she lives and stays in this multiverse, she's not only stealing someone else's life, even though it is an aspect of hers, she is living memories that she does not have, and she may have to sacrifice the life that she wants in the future and let go of the life she once had in the past, which is to let go of her mom. And it's like this, like the first thing I was like, Is anyone else seeing this? Does anyone else see this? So I do have to say that was one of the cool aspects about the film that I enjoyed the most. Just sort of watching the character develop that sense, and when she really sort of snaps when she realizes that the boy that she loves, he dies, right? So he ends up being killed because she's being selfish. She's like, I ain't saving nobody's life. I'm done. I want to stay stuck in this universe. I am good. And homeboy's like, babe, that's not even cool to do. That's not right. So he goes in to actually save Lori and ends up being killed himself. She realizes it, and then she sacrifices her life again to bring him back. Man, love is twisted. Oh, that's why they brought it out right before Valentine's Day. And they had a lot of quirky, corny jokes in there. The nerd jokes were obviously the boyfriend is obviously very nerdy, very geek culture like, and he even asked her like, hey, have you seen Groundhog Day? Groundhog Day. And the first one she didn't see it. Now in the second one, he's like, did you see Back to the Future? And she's like, no. And it's a fun film. I can definitely say it's a lot of fun to watch. It's a lot of like inside jokes with you and your friends, and I think that's what makes it special in its own way. If you're looking for like a corny, good fun time where you get to solve who the murderer is, I definitely would recommend watching Happy Death Day and then Happy Death Day 2. Now, at the end, when she starts to realize she's sacrificing her future for the sake of keeping a sense of her past, she has these random moments where the mom's like, hey, you know what we should do? We should go get that cinnamon roll. We got it for her birthday last year. And she's kind of having a moment to herself because she's like, that wasn't me. Which means the other version of her is living probably in the life where she is, where her mom is actually dead and reliving this whole thing over and over and over and sort of living that life. And she ends up making the right choice and ends up going back to her universe because she wants to be with the guy. She ends up having a heart-to-heart conversation with her mom without telling her the truth. And she leaves this universe and goes back to her original universe. And then out of nowhere, at the movie's like ending, you're like, yay, you see a couple of credits and like bam, and you're like, what's going on? They're doing like community service for the college because technically they made something explode in the lab, and the government just swoops in and is like, we need to talk to you five, and they basically take these kids into a lab, take the machine that they had created, and then they want to test how to put people in a time loop. And she suggests, I shouldn't tell you that one. That one's going to be fun to discover. So I'm assuming they're hinting to like Happy Death Day 3, which would be a lot of fun. Because I think this can be a fun, quirky series as long as they take their humor carefully and doesn't become too cornball. I think it can be a very fun series of just people having to solve their own murder. I think that's kind of cool. It's like that video game. What is it? There's a ghost, and you're like a noir detective, and you gotta solve your own murder, but without like being too interactive with people. It's got a cool premise to it, and I really enjoyed the film. I think it's a lot of fun. If you can take like a corny film and enjoy like the comedy of it aspect, I would definitely go for it. It kind of gave me the vibe of a Scary Movie when it first came out. It had that kind of vibe for me where I just enjoyed all the side jokes and watching the characters still develop. And then and the other thing I wanted to get back to was the actress is acting. The lead actress did a phenomenal job during the scene when she sees the mom again for the first time alive, and then when she has to say goodbye. Her eyes were so bloodshot red. There was so much quivering and emotion in there that even for a second you're like, ah, and it was funny. Like, your heart stops for her because you realize like she puts on such a performance that it's heartbreaking, because you know she has to say goodbye. She has the opportunity to say goodbye, and that you did phenomenal at that, because you went from comedy to like drama real quick, and I'm like, whoa. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that film. I think it's a lot of fun. If you're looking for a fun film, if you can do a fun date night, I guess this week, I'm not really into Valentine's Day, don't care for it, but if you're looking for a fun film to watch and your date's got a sense of humor, I definitely would take her to go see Happy Death Day 2. And if you can, watch the first one before you watch it, just to go back and enjoy the extra inside jokes. Now, the other benefit to the film is if you didn't see the first one, it's okay. They cover all the bases when they do their recap. It's like a very comical recap of what happened to her before the last time, and she carries those grudges into the next one. And you see as you're watching the film, you don't feel left out. I don't feel like if I didn't see the first one, I'd be like, what the is going on? Like, that's not the impression that I get. I felt like, no, this is a fun film. You can start into if you want, but I just think it's, for me, I just found it more fun, and because I saw the first one. So yes, make sure you guys go check out Happy Death Day 2. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, because I'm honestly really tired. But I had a lot of fun watching that. Thank you again, Mexico. You guys are amazing and phenomenal. I really do love you guys, and I really appreciate you guys always taking me out to the movies. Happy Valentine's Day, Mexico. And I'll catch you guys later.